everyone, my name is Cher. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Lathe and Loom Podcast. I'm coming to you from Eastern North Carolina, and today is Saturday, June the 5th. It's been 3 weeks since my last podcast, and have had lots of knitting time with a relaxing little beach vacation. So I'll have a little bit of knitting to share with you after following quite a case of Castonitis that seems to be getting worse. And I had a field trip to a local yarn shop while we were at the beach. So I thought I would share a little bit about that with you, since one of the passions of starting this podcast was to share a little bit about makers and dyers and shops that inspire and fuel our fiber activities. So without further ado, we'll get started. So we vacationed in Emerald Isle, North Carolina, which is about an hour and a half east of where we live here, and had a really nice, relaxing time. I'm going to insert a few inspirational beach photos, and I had a little bit of that at the beginning of the video as well. Just a really relaxing time, and I had a lot of fun playing around with some of the photography towards sunset, and doing a little bit of different things with photography, knitting, and it inspired me to start thinking about how to kind of rebrand the channel, which that was just a lot of fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit. While we were there, we took a trip over about 20 minutes into Morehead City, North Carolina, which is just a really cute little sea town. It's got a really nice downtown restaurants and shops and lots of art and artists. So if you are in the vicinity, I encourage you to check it out. But took a trip to some of you may have seen on my Instagram, Nook yarn shop in Morehead City. It's right on the main street there. I'll put the link to the shop below. And the owner, Lisa, and her colleague Karen were just really wonderful. I have such a tiny YouTube channel. I said, can I take a few pictures? So they very kindly are letting me introduce them to you. And I realized after I got done, I should have done a lot better with my video and photography work. So apologies to Karen and Lisa, but hopefully you get a sense for the shop. So I have a few shops that are within an hour's drive of me. I don't have any in my direct city, but I will definitely be going back to the Knit Nook. It was very, you just know when you walk in and you feel the vibe of a place, and like, this is my people. So it was very comfortable. The yarn selection that they had very closely aligned with my aesthetic. In fact, they had several stocks of things that I thought, oh gosh, good, because I need some of this brand. So I can share more about that in future episodes. And I was introduced to two local dyers that they stock as well. So Humblebee yarns. I'll put the link, or I'll put some photos of some of those yarns that were just lovely and will be no doubt in future projects. And also sheep dipped dye works, pardon me, and who I was very inspired by, and bought two different sets of yarn for that. And you'll see that sort of as I go through my projects, and I'll mention more about it. So that's kind of what we did. Other than that, hang out on the beach and just enjoy. We had exceptionally good weather for late May in North Carolina. Can be kind of totally one way or totally the other, and we were just right in the middle, and it was just perfect. So really enjoyed that, and I came back and had a nice long weekend for Memorial Weekend at home, catching up on some knitting and spinning and so forth. So I do not have any finished objects. I really thought I would finish my wild bee socks, which I worked feverishly on. They almost became an obsession. I almost sacrificing beach time to keep knitting. Such a fun knit. So let's get started with works in progress. The first work on my needle is my Wild Bee socks. You might have seen some photos of this in my Instagram and some of my beach photography. So here is the current progress. This is probably the longest socks that I have knit to date. It is the first time I have tried anything but a shadow wrap heel. So this has a heel flap and gusset with this lovely, I think this is Eye of Partridge, they call this, which has been a really interesting experience. So the socks are designed by Helen Stewart. They are part of the season 4 of the Handmade Sock Society pattern grouping, which she does each year. It's the first time I've participated, and I really chose to participate in it and have committed that I will knit these the way the pattern is written. And just to kind of help me branch out, try some different things, different patterns. Again, I always knit toe ups, wedge heel, shadow wrap, or excuse me, wedge toe, shadow wrap heel. So this is really going to kind of take me out of my kind of my usual comfort zone, if you will. This has just been this lovely little bee motif. Is very addictive to knit. I've really enjoyed it. I have to tell you, I did not enjoy the heel, the first one. I mean, it's very interesting to learn, and I think it has, and I know a lot of people just love heel flap and gusset. That's all they ever do. So I'm really interested to see how they fit, and I will continue to, she's got several, I've got several more patterns. This one, only one I've done. I mean, it is a lovely heel. I like the look of the shadow wrap heel. I just found it, I mean, it's like 70 rows that you're dealing with the heel, which just, it's it's counting, and you have to pay attention to the pattern. And I kind of just like the ease of the shadow wrap. It's just kind of off on itself, on its own, and done. You don't have to count, you don't have to put stitch markers, and but it's a lovely in the pattern. And I just think this yarn, which I have mentioned before, is Rich Hill Yarns, which is a dyer out of Richmond, Virginia, in colorway the Jefferson. All the information for everything I talk about is in the show notes below. I just think it's just setting off the pattern just fabulously. So I knew when I got this yarn it would be something special, and I have not been disappointed at all with this patterning. So really enjoying that. But anyway, the heel was a bit of a struggle, I have to say. After I finished the first one, I sort of knit my socks concurrently on 2 9-inch circulars. As you can see, I do the cast on, Turkish cast on with a well, actually no, that one I cast on the 9-inch because I started at the cuff, and then I just kind of worked them somewhat simultaneously. After the first one, I kind of had to take a break. I was just kind of tired of dealing with the heel. So I got back on them a couple of days ago, and I think I'll go really fast now. I finished the second heel, so it's just got to finish out the foot and the toe, and see if I can perfect my Kitchener stitch, which is dubious at best, but that's the point of branching out. And this is just in my own project bag to do. So really looking forward to getting those. Those should be a finished object for the next episode 4. So I, of course, did some stash acquisitions while I was shopping at the Knit Nook. And while I was looking around, I noticed they had this cute little package, which I wish I had taken a photo of, but I didn't. But it was a yarn and pattern package, and it was the Knit Nook socks. The pattern is by Kay Litton, so Crazy Sock Lady Designs, and the yarn is by Sheep Dipped Dye Works. So I eagerly picked up both. So here is the main body of the yarn. Here's the toe, for contrast for the toe. and I have just this wee bit started. So the first repeat of the pattern and the toe on the first sock. And the reason I'm not very far in this is because I thought, you know, it's summer sock camp on the Crazy Sock Lady podcast channel. And of course I had to cast on. So I couldn't cast on until June 1. And then of course it's been a work week. So I bought a really cute project bag. I've always wanted one of these project bags while we were there. And I believe, oh, I hope I'm not getting this wrong. I believe Karen does the project bags at the Knit Nook. They had lots. This is just a fantastic sock size. It has, you know, the really nice, you know, handle. You can carry it easily. It's got a inside pocket, perfectly fits my skeined up yarn, and they had a she does some little accessories holders. So my husband put a new pair of scissors on the counter when I was checking out. Actually, it's funny. I'm like, oh, I didn't put those up, and he's like, no, I did. And I'm like, kind of looked at him. He said, you're always needing another pair of scissors. So true. So, you know, I kind of feel like there should be scissors in every project bag. So anyway, so that was really fun, and you know, just everything fits really, really nicely in there. So the yarn itself, again, here is the dyer, Ship Dip Dye Works. And this is the second anniversary. So this pattern and yarn was for their second anniversary, which was in April of 2020, which, as we all know, not a big shopping time, sadly, with the pandemic. So they still had some kits left. They do online shopping. They have a nice online shop. They do shipping. So I encourage you, if you would like to join me for summer sock camp or just want to cast on a nice pair of socks, to reach out. They still had a few kits left, and it would support a really great shop, and I think it would be kind of fun to knit them together. So if you would like to do that, drop a note in the comments. Let me know how you make out, and then please post some photos if I get a few folks interested. I think there's a hashtag, but you can use their hashtag as well, or you can put them on the summer sock camp hashtag, or I can create something if there's interest in that. So do let me know. The yarn is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 460 yards for the 100 grams, and it is the second anniversary colorway. So I just thought it's, you know, it's neat to support a local store. It's neat to support a local dyer, and then to have that come together, you know, it was just totally fun to have a pattern that was done for them and a yarn that was done for them for their anniversary. Is all about what I want to support on my channel. So really excited for that, and thank you again to Karen and Lisa for being such lovely hosts while I was shopping. One of the other, so I also got I think I mentioned, but I picked up several skeins of this. I could not put this yarn down from the minute I saw it. Matter of fact, it's so pretty. I'm going to show you all 4 skeins that I purchased. It is also the staple sock, 75-25. If I can hold them all up. And the colorway is Wild Horses, which I believe is a reference to our Shackleford ponies that are out on Shackleford Island. And I might be overstating that, but that's what it said. That's what it said to me. Can you just see the sea and the grass and the pony and the sky? And anyway, I had to have this. So I'll talk about that a little bit more in my cast on section. So hold that thought. But continuing with works in progress, I'm a little bit disjointed today. I am still working on my Even Star shawl. I haven't gotten really hardly any rounds on that, so I'm not going to show you that one today. We'll hold that for a future episode. But I did, as noted last time, I was going to cast on the Comfort Fate Cardi by Andrea Maori, and I did get that cast on. So here is, I'm still in the first colorway, I believe. So I'm working here on just the top around the back of the shoulders. So I think this is knitting up really nicely. You might remember, or you might not if this is not your first podcast. This is your first podcast. And if it is your first podcast, welcome. I'm sorry, I think I should have said that too. My fade has some quite dark colors in it, and I was a little bit nervous about putting the dark against that paler pink, so I did pre-wash all of my yarn, and it's just been sitting caked up waiting for me to cast it on. So I am enjoying this. It's just a nice unfortunately, all of my patterns right now require me to look at I use Knit Companion for most things, or a pattern. So I don't have any just really easy knits. This is about as close as I can get. It's kind of in an established pattern and with increases. So I'm kind of using that to offset my other projects that are a little more complicated. And the next one I need to cast on something I can just knit. Because I seem to be all about casting on all the things. So anyways, that's where we are with the Comfort Fade Cardi. So that is all of my knitting in progress. And then the Wild Horses yarn, I am planning to cast on the Heart of Glass tee. So this is a really interesting pattern. It's got a long sleeve and a short sleeve option by Mary and Aurelia. And I thought it would just really set off that Wild Horses yarn quite nicely. So that should probably be cast on by the next episode, along with, I'm debating whether I'm ready to pick the Brightest Tea that I had mentioned by, I'll put it below. The name is completely escaping me. I can see your face. I apologize. It is ready as well. And I had the yarn, as you know, dyed up for that. So probably cast on one or both of those by the next episode. So I have a little spinning. I have been working on, I think I showed last time, the little movement on the camera there. Been working on my Shetland Spin. So this was a combination of bat and locks from Whispering Pine Farm. So I have in my little spinning book, too much glare. The bat came from Yara, and this is what it looked like raw. You can kind of see that. And that was a 2019 fleece, and the locks came from Gwen. So there's Gwen's photo and her lock there. The single spun up really, really thin, probably the thinnest I've ever spun. I'm going to pop a few photos in here as well, because I plied it last night, and I was putting it back on another bobbin before I did the wash today, and I noticed that the beginning is definitely not plied. You can see that as nicely as it's just really loose. I was having some trouble with the wheel, so it's hopefully that's focusing. But if you look in the photos, so because I've got the light and the dark, I have this very interesting section of barber pulling that I didn't think I would like, but it's actually really pretty. The rest of it, the dual color section and the moret is spun really nicely, but I'm just gonna have to put this back through the wheel and add a little bit of twist to this fawn section, I think, to get it a little bit better. So look for that on Instagram to have a little more update into how that turns out. My feeling is that I may have overspun the singles because it's not as fluffy as I would like. And I don't know if it's just because it's so thin. So anyway, that was a test because I have some Shetland full fleeces, and I still have some more bat and locks from Whispering Pines. So I'm going to be, and that was a 3-ply. So I'm going to be trying, some more, so I really dial it in. So when I get to my beautiful black and more fleeces, that I have it down just how I want it to be, hopefully to do some sweater quantity spinning. I do have another spin that I'm working on. I will pop a few photos. So in early 2020, I purchased a Jacob fleece from Crochet Farm. So this is Sibelius, or Sibby, and her lovely fleece. And I'm going to insert a few pictures of, you can see a little bit of the kind of sorting, cleaning, washing process. So I'm currently in the process of, here is some of her locks. And so the nice thing about Jacob fleece, it's a really long staple, this one. You get a variety of colors. So I've sorted it mostly, so I have mostly the white, mostly the gray, mostly the black. Separately, there's a little bit of mix in this bucket. But I'm in the process of flicking this. So this is washed but not flicked. And so soft. I adore it. And it's a big fleece. I have a long way to go. I do have a carder, so I'm flicking it. I'm probably doing more than I need to, but anyway, these are the flicked locks. And then I would feed this into the carder. I don't have any of the bats up yet, but you see how nicely springy and long those are. It's a quite long staple. And then this is one full bobbin of singles. So I've spun this a little thicker than the Shetland, and I think I'm going to try that with my next one as well. So so this will be quite, I'm kind of questioning, yeah, this is a single. It's because it's so much thicker than my my Shetland. So so this will be a much heavier weight, and my goal with this is a half shawl. So I'm eager to get that one processed because I'm itching to get processing the Shetland fleeces. And as I look around, I think that brings us to the end of today's episode. So I appreciate very much you spending some time with me. If you're coming back after episodes 1 and 2, thank you so much for returning. If you're new, again, I welcome you to the channel. I am really hoping to build a little bit of a community and share, again, some of the designers and makers that support the fiber industry, and just share that with you all. So Saturday, June the 12th is Knit in Public Day, Worldwide Knit in Public Day, as a matter of fact. So if you are participating in Worldwide Knit in Public Day, I would love for you to leave a comment below or on my Instagram page, Lathe and Loom, and let me know what you're doing for Knit in Public Day. I am thinking about getting a couple of knitters that I've met in my town, possibly going down to our we have a little tiny, very cute downtown area as well that has some nice park benches, and I thought that would be really fun to support our local coffee brewer and our coffee shop, and do a little knitting. So whatever you choose to do, I hope you're enjoying it and having some fun with your crafty endeavors. Thanks so much for joining me, and happy knitting, dyeing, spinning, weaving, or whatever you're doing today. Bye, everyone.